Hey, FootClan, as we wrap up the regular season, some of you Week 17ers are getting ready for your championships. Want to remind you, we have 2 shows next week. And you know what we're going to be talking about? The playoffs. We're going to do a playoff challenge. The footies, the illustrious footies, will be nominated and handed out. And on top of that, there's always an extra third show if you head over to jointhefoot.com.
This is Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the FantasyJocks.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in to the show. It's Friday. It's time to go. You guys ready?
Are you ready? That's the better question.
You're right about that. Fatherhood has many ups and downs.
You went and saw the new Star Wars movie last night, right?
Well, no, it didn't work out. I think I was telling somebody yesterday, I was like, when the grandparents are willing to watch the kids, that's a pretty special event for a father of 3, a mother and father of 3. So we had the date night last night and went out and went to dinner, did a little shopping, and then went to the movies, had some nice middle row seats picked out for Star Wars. Haven't seen it yet. Got through all the previews, 2 hours of previews.
The previews have gone so long.
They've gotten out of control.
I never mind them.
I always have loved the previews. I'm with everyone else. The previews were great, get excited, but they just
keep going.
I am here for a movie.
Well, and I was telling my wife, too, because I also got to watch the Happy Honda Days and 47 commercials before the previews. I remember when you went to the movies and it was just quiet. It was like a chill thing beforehand. You had the slides, and anyway, losing the point here. We got right into that first minute of Rogue One.
Ooh.
And got that call from the parents that the 8-year-old was getting ready to hurl.
Oh,
and
nice.
was kind of freaking out about being sick without mom and dad, and the grandparents didn't sound too eager to want to deal with that. So we headed home. So I may see it eventually. But not last night, that's for sure. And then we didn't sleep. So, yeah, you're right. Am I ready? Not as much as you guys. But we've got a good show today. We have our in and out. We have a great quick question. We have the rest of the Week 17 matchups. And so I'm definitely excited. How are you guys doing? Did you get more sleep than I did?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I definitely got more sleep than you did. I'm feeling real good, except for one problem.
What's that?
I am very confident that I might be eating whatever you pick out for me for lunch next week. The news is not breaking in my favor. The Dak one is already gone.
I believe it's called crow.
Just to be,
You're eating crow.
Yes, I am eating crow all next week.
Yeah. So you bet me ridiculously at the beginning of the week.
Right, that Dak would play the whole game because
Right.
I didn't think they'd give any reps to Tony Romo. Now they're even saying, yeah, we might do that too, but Mark Sanchez is there. Dak's not playing the whole game.
No.
And then I have Ezekiel Elliott as a top 12 back.
Yeah.
With the news about the quarterback, I think they're going to do the same thing with the running back, which means I am switching my start of the week to DeAngelo Williams.
Wait.
Is that true?
It is, but he's
Yes,
still...
yes, it is. It is 100% true.
I had a big announcement that I had to switch my start of the week. Whatever. Let's get into the show.
All right. Well, it is. You totally stole it on air. It is Friday, isn't it?
It is.
So what do we do on Friday?
Oh, it's the FootClan Friday!
FootClan Friday.
It is FootClan Friday. Every Friday we give out a gift card to shopballers.com to one of our jointhefoot.com supporters. And today's winner of a gift card is Steve McCroskey.
Oh, I thought it was Steve.
McCroskey.
We almost had Steve McQueen.
Oh,
Almost.
you thought it was Steve McQueen.
Almost.
That would have been
Could be. Pseudonames are real.
long odds on that, though.
Yeah, I think the odds are pretty long.
So Steve McCroskey, you are the FootClan Friday winner. Guys,
Congratulations.
Congrats. Follow us on Twitter at @TheFFBallers. Check out the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. I have a quick question for you guys. We're playing a game of Who Am I? to close out this regular season episode here. And I think you guys might be able to get it. It's interesting. We play these games sometimes because it lets you focus on some of what a player actually does and not their name.
Yep.
Right.
So first hint is I'm the RB12
Okay.
in half-point per reception leagues.
And
So.
I assume it's not Frank Gore then because it's just too easy.
It is not. It's not Frank Gore.
What's funny is that Frank Gore was the first thing.
Yeah.
Is this another trick Frank Gore question?
You've got 19 questions left. No. I only have 190 rushing attempts. The 4 players below me average out to about 263 carries thus far. Okay.
Okay.
Hint number 3.
Wow, they averaged. That's a lot of carries.
I've played in 12 of 15 games.
I had a guess at number 2.
Okay, what's your guess?
Well, do we want to go through some more clues, or do you want me to throw my guess?
Well, no, I gave the third clue. 12 of 15 games. So I'd love to hear the guess.
I'm going with Tevin Coleman.
Okay. I think that's a really good guess that's wrong.
Yeah, that is a good guess. Loser.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not right, but that's a good guess.
Okay.
My receiving line, this probably would have cleared it up maybe, is 32 catches for 250 yards and no touchdowns.
Okay.
All right. I don't want to give the 5th hint yet if you have any guesses, but if you don't, then I will give it.
Man.
Because the 5th hint
I'm
will
trying
give it
to
away.
think of who is really efficient. No receiving touchdowns. LeGarrette Blount, but he doesn't have that many. He doesn't have 30-plus receptions, and he probably has more carries. So, man, I'm
At a loss?
Yeah, I'm at a loss. Any other clues here?
Yeah, let's go clue number 5.
Jason Loves.
Oh, there's my guy. Latavius.
Yes, sir. Latavius Murray. Is that, that's pretty impressive. 190 rushing attempts, RB12 in half-point leagues.
He's been a touchdown guy this year.
Yeah, he has. But not through the air, as you heard. It's just been he's been doing enough through the air to lift up that half-point ranking, though, that's for sure. So let's jump into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
Certainly willing to admit he's not the fantasy MVP that I predicted for Latavius Murray, but he certainly won some people some games. Had a pretty good season.
Yeah, it's not been bad by any stretch.
Yeah, I would be very happy
So-
if he was on my team.
What is the news about DeAngelo Williams?
So ESPN Steelers reporter Jeremy Fowler has said, don't be surprised if DeAngelo Williams gets a healthy run this week. There's still the possibility that he splits with Fitzgerald Toussaint. We don't really know what the split will be. What we know is that historically, at least in the last few years, Mike Tomlin says, you're the guy at running back, and you get 90% of the work.
Yeah, it really is how he uses the running back. I don't anticipate a big split here. It's just a matter of, is DeAngelo Williams healthy? He was active last week. I think he only played like 1 snap or got 1 carry. And Fitzgerald Toussaint was not active. So with this news coming out, that's why I changed my start of the week to DeAngelo Williams.
Well done. Adam Schefter says Dak Prescott will start. Tony Romo and Mark Sanchez are expected to see action. Interesting to see. Obviously that, look, if you were going to play Dak, you shouldn't.
No.
Yeah, no. These guys are, for me, they're hands off for fantasy. There was also Ian Rappaport talked about that Darren McFadden is expected to get the majority of the running back snaps. Dak is for sure you cannot play him. Zeke, play him at your own risk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Mike and I have
you changed, Jason?
No, I still think he is playable.
Okay.
I really do. I don't think he is an absolute must start. If you have other good options, I would start DeAngelo Williams for sure over him because
Right.
the thing I don't think we've mentioned quite enough to remind people, when DeAngelo Williams has gotten the start, he's been like a top 2 running back usually, and they're playing the Cleveland Browns. So if DeAngelo Williams ends up the week as the number 1 running back, no one here is going to be surprised.
Correct.
No. All right, let's play some in and out.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Cam Newton, shoulder injury, limited Wednesday and Thursday. Is he going to play?
I think he probably
He really
does.
shouldn't.
Yeah, the smart move is just the season's over. Take your lumps. Cam Newton has been beat up all season. Let him rest, but I feel like he's going to play.
Yeah.
If he plays, do you start him?
I would not.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because if he plays, I don't think he's going to be running. They're not going to call running plays for him and things like that. No,
you saw
no
that
goal
last
line
week.
touchdowns.
That was a problem. Robert Griffin III, is he going to play?
He's cleared from the concussion protocol, and so apparently he will start.
He's going to get the first 2 drives before his next concussion.
That's
Robert
I'm
Griffin.
just saying every Cleveland Brown quarterback.
he can't
It's not
stay
just
on the
Robert
field.
Griffin. Robert Griffin can't stay on the field no matter where he is. But the Cleveland Browns, I want to know how many of – this is week 17. How many weeks has the starter finished the game or played every snap?
That's a fair question.
It's got to be like 3.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah, I agree. I like the fact that I can pull up Browns quarterbacks and you just get a list a mile long. I mean, it's just all right. In or out, running backs. Let's go. Thomas Rawls,
Full practice the last couple of days. He's going to play.
Ajayi.
He's going to play. He's been fully back in practice. Limited in practice, but definitely going to play.
Well, and you have the note that they allegedly want to get Kenyan Drake more involved.
Yes.
So, I mean, if there's a week that you're going to get him involved, I imagine it's one where Ajayi is a little bit beat up.
Yeah, I still believe that they need to win this game more than almost anybody.
I agree.
Melvin Gordon, Lamar Miller.
Gordon is practicing. A reminder, he needs 3 yards to hit the 1,000-yard club. If you're Melvin Gordon, you're trying to get in there. If you're the team, you should hold him out. But we'll see. We'll see who wins that battle.
I think Gordon
It's funny,
will start.
the team, it helps the team too, because when you invest a high draft pick in a running back, having him put up a 1,000-yard season actually helps the perception of that pick.
Right.
Yeah, I think he will start, and I think you can play him, but it's a Kansas City Chiefs defense, so it's not going to be a good game, and I don't see him as a top option.
Lamar Miller.
He's
Definitely
not practicing. Expect to see Alfred Blue and possibly a healthy dose of Akeem Hunt.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill.
He's trending down,
Yeah.
trending not to play, which
Did he play last week? That was a
kind of
sarcastic question.
It's a genuine question.
So Rex Burkhead will play in his stead, assuming Hill sits, which I think he will. The matchup is not favorable though against Baltimore, so it's be a volume play for Burkhead.
In or out, Jonathan Stewart.
Not practicing the last couple days. I would think he sits.
LeSean McCoy, in or out?
I think he's going to play. He's a baller. He returned to practice Thursday. I know the Bills have nothing to play for, but he's not going to be like, yeah, just rest me for next year. That's not Shady's way.
Matt Forte, Bilal Powell.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
Forte, I completely don't expect him to play. Bilal Powell, who was my start of the week, which is where I had my grand announcement planned for this portion of the show before my esteemed colleague
Stole it from you?
went Bolshevik revolution on me.
You know, I can penalize him for that. There is a
Can
penalty.
we?
There's a very simple penalty.
What is it?
Anytime he does something like that, his start of the weeks at wide receiver and tight end become Devontae Adams and Greg Olsen.
No, I hate those guys.
So,
But Bilal Powell
or he has to sleep he has to bring the Devontae Adams bobblehead into the
With
bed
him?
into the bed with him.
Bilal Powell didn't practice because of his knee. He got a little bit banged up last week. Then Thursday sat with an illness. It's trending that he's not going to play.
Spencer Ware, Chris Ivory, Theo Riddick, James Starks, in or out on those guys?
Where in? I'm going to go Ivory in, but I'm going to say Riddick and Starks do not play.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. Wide receivers, Alshon Jeffery. He missed practice with an illness.
He's going to play.
He needs to play.
He's playing for that money.
He's a good start. Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, I think he's.
Oh, man.
He cannot stay healthy. Oh, are we back? Yeah.
Wow, you took it up a notch.
I gotta use my false every now
You
and then.
brought it way up. I did see videos of you doing some karaoke.
No good. Here's the deal. Wife gets a birthday week. I get a birthday week, so I'm pretty much a slave this week. Do whatever. Ate a mouthful of wasabi because she said to. So she wanted to karaoke, and I went full karaoke.
Well,
you never go full karaoke.
Your son received a karaoke machine, right?
Yes, for Christmas, and so we went on a magic carpet ride, and we went in summer through the movie Frozen.
Oh.
Oh,
You went
sang
Aladdin.
straight through it, yeah.
Yes.
I thought you guys actually sang Magic Carpet Ride.
No. Aladdin.
You
This is Disney.
don't know.
My son got a karaoke machine. He's 8.
You
He's
gotta
actually
get him,
not 8 yet. He's 7.
You got to get him the oldies, man. The classics.
There are some on there.
All right, are we at Jordan Matthews?
We sure are, but let's skip it. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. Hasn't been that good. Don't play him.
In or out, Dante Moncrief?
That drop is out,
Nah,
apparently.
dude.
Moncrief.
50-50 shot that things
Score
work.
the technical difficulties on bingo. If you're
you go.
playing footballers bingo, Moncrief, he's going to be out. There's week 17. Just if you need more reminders of why week 17 is not supposed to be played for fantasy football, here you go.
I feel like you guys have said that.
But Mike,
But yes.
Andy,
Yes, voice of public opinion.
but shouldn't you be able to, play the guys that you have no freaking idea are going to be in week 17? That's literally the
very
argument that you
confused
hear
here.
for week 17.
Here's a new way to play Week 17. Instead of playing live players, you just average out what everybody on your team has done during the previous 16 weeks, and you get that score for those players. And then you never speak of Week 17 again. I feel like because we haven't wanted to answer those Week 17 conundrums, some of them, it's been just vilifying Week 17 leagues.
Yeah, well, sorry, man.
So
It's
I
just-
feel like we need to somehow do something to help people change their leagues to Week 16 finishing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to help you win
You know
this
what?
week in week 17.
Yeah, we sure are.
Bring you that championship. Your league is as legit as anyone else's. But I completely agree.
Yeah.
This offseason, we have to make sure to remind people.
I know how to do it too.
Beautiful. Because
Just click the scoring leaders tab for Week 17 and then just screenshot the top 15 guys at every position and then submit that in your legal argument because it's not going to be names that you're happy with. It's going to be really, really weird names. When Fitzgerald, Toussaint, or leads the way, you're going to say, okay, what are we doing here? But all right, in or out, Robbie Anderson, Kenny Britt, Malcolm Mitchell.
Malcolm Mitchell was a guy I had some decent hopes for this week, but he has not practiced all week. I mean, I can't imagine if he doesn't get limited on Friday, he's going to be out.
Okay.
And let's say for
Kenny
the rest
Britt?
of those guys, Kenny Britt, he hit his 1,000. He's going to be out. Robbie Anderson, is Bryce Petty playing?
No.
Then Robbie Anderson is out of your fantasy lineup.
What about Brandon Marshall this week with Fitzpatrick back?
I don't know that Brandon Marshall plays.
Brandon Marshall is going to be sitting in the used clinics of his tears from having to send his car to Antonio Brown, and that's what he will be doing instead of playing football.
You think he's out?
Yep. I think he's out, and I think he retires. I think this is it for Brandon
Really?
Marshall. Yep.
I mean, it's strange when you have guys like Brandon Marshall, who's 32, Larry Fitzgerald, 33. You hear retirement talk about both of them. Marshall more because he's kind of done it, and he's
not on a contender.
He's got the personality to do the NFL shows and stuff like that. But then you have Steve Smith, who's 37 and still dominating. And you could see a guy like Fitzgerald be like a Hines Ward for another 3 or 4 years if he wanted to. I don't think Larry Fitzgerald, he keeps himself in good shape. I don't think he has to retire.
I don't think he has to.
I think he could play forever.
But but wait, who's going to take Marshall? Who's going to take on that baggage?
Well, and then this report about him creating a raucous locker room at halftime.
Yeah, that does not help.
No.
That's what I mean. There's so much baggage associated with him. You have to give him at least a decent amount.
He doesn't
of
have
money.
a car anymore.
Yeah, he can't drive to work. No reliable transportation.
Troubles.
It's
Sammy
just-
Coates, does
yeah.
he play? Do we care? No, we
Yeah,
don't.
I think he's out.
Randall Cobb,
He's not practicing again. He's going to be out.
there's no reason to, well,
Oh, there's reason for him to play, but he's not going to.
I don't think there's reason. I think you just get him back for
Yeah, he's
playoff.
clearly he has just not been the same this year.
Anquan Boldin, does he play?
Probably. He's Anquan. Talk about a guy who will play.
Yeah.
It's Anquan Boldin.
Who did I say was the new Anquan Boldin? I feel like I just mentioned a name that was, I thought one of you guys would remember.
Nope.
It was really good. But moving
was it
along.
Moncrief?
No.
It wasn't Moncrief.
Oh.
Moncrief's the opposite.
Well, yeah, it's as far as he playing, but his play style.
No.
it was okay.
Crowder?
I'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, tight ends, in or out, Greg Olsen, Jordan Reed, Charles Clay.
I think Greg Olsen is going to play because he is an Iron Man, has a monster streak, but he didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. But I think he's safe. And if Cam doesn't play, That's good news for Greg Olsen. It's not a joke. It really is. Jordan Reed will play. I'm personally not going to start him.
No, I'm not either.
If he's there, I just that shoulder injury needs an offseason. And Charles Clay returned to practice Thursday. He is my start of the week. I will obviously start him.
Makes sense with the start of the week.
Hey, before we jump into the rest of the matchups, want to thank today's sponsor, Pristine Auction. FootClan, you're getting ready. You're getting ready for those victories, for those FootClan titles. There is no better way to celebrate than getting the jersey of the guy. You get the guy. Jason has Charles Clay to thank for his title. I have David Johnson. Luckily, I already have David Johnson up on my wall with a beautiful signed, authentic signature jersey on my wall from pristineauction.com. Head over there. Just browse the wares. They have daily auctions, new stuff every single day. You'll be blown away at the selection, at the prices. It's a good time. Believe me, just check it out. It's PRISTINE auction.com. Make a completely free account. And when you do it, just let them know that the Fantasy Footballers sent you.
We also want to thank Blue Apron. Look, it's 2017. Well, it's almost 2017. And that's the time for resolutions. That's the time to get in shape. That's the time to eat well. I know we have some of our own goals over here, and we love Blue Apron because, look, not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients taste better, and they're better for you. It's important to know where your food comes from. We've been sponsored by Blue Apron for a long time. We've used them for a long time. They're absolutely a top-notch product. They have established partnerships with over 150 local farms and fisheries and ranchers across the U.S., so you get sustainable food, you get high-quality food that is the absolute best. And those of you out there who spend a lot of time eating out or spend a lot of time at high-end grocery stores, now you can spend under $10 a person for a delicious meal. And some of the meals that you can get in December right now: roasted pork and braised cabbage with barley and glazed apples, Thai green coconut curry with sweet potato and jasmine rice.
Fancy.
Brown butter and chestnut gnocchi with Brussels sprouts and pea shoot salad. This is stuff that tastes good, and it feels good to actually eat it.
These are photo worthy when you get done.
No doubt about it. So check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/ballers. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so do not wait. That's blueapron.com/ballers. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. All right, is there anybody else we need to go through here? We're moving back into the matchups, or
Think we're ready to talk Bills-Jets.
oh my goodness, week 17 time.
Fantasy Forecast.
Got to push through. Got to push through, man.
All right, the Bills take on the Jets. The Jets are 3.5-point underdogs. Ryan Fitzpatrick takes over under center by default. EJ Manuel's going to be starting for the Bills. What are the fantasy storylines people need to know about from this game? We know how the Jets defense has struggled against the pass, but you do have EJ Manuel just stepping in. I don't have confidence in the passing game for Buffalo. I am with Mike on the willingness to start Shady and Charles Clay as just kind of staying in the flames.
So you would jump off of Watkins then?
I don't have enough confidence in Watkins. Jumping off isn't the right way to think about it. It's just who would you start over who?
Right.
I have Watkins ranked lower. I think we saw him go from an okay game to a down game to a good game. I don't want to mess with that kind of up and down with EJ Manuel
New
myself.
quarterback.
I'm still okay playing him.
Makes sense. You guys have them both much higher than I do. So,
regardless of EJ Manuel being the quarterback, I'm still fine playing him. This Jets defense, I mean, I feel like even EJ Manuel can have success against the Jets defense now.
Would you play Watkins over Larry Fitzgerald?
Ah, man.
At the Rams?
Probably would.
I don't think so. I mean, that's a real dependent move. I think Sammy Watkins is the higher upside because you could end up with 2 bombs against that Jets secondary. But if you're in a PPR format or you want more secure points, I'm going to go with the guy leading the league in receptions.
Let me ask you this: would you play Watkins over Odell Beckham
Second
Jr.?
in the league,
Well,
Jason.
he will be after this week where
That's
Antonio
fine.
Brown, who was first, is not playing.
Would you play Watkins over Odell Beckham Jr.? Because obviously you have the variable of those guys might not play the whole game, and those are the actual decisions that owners are making this week.
I would.
I would not.
Okay.
I am still a little bit. I am still
Jason
more
has
confident.
them back-to-back in the rankings.
I am still more. I'm confident in Odell Beckham. I know he might not play the whole game, but I just think, look, they've come out and said that they're not going to rest their starters, and that doesn't mean that they won't.
I don't believe anybody anymore.
Sure. I mean, they very well might, and it doesn't mean. I mean, not resting your starters means, hey, I pull them for the fourth quarter, maybe, or maybe at halftime.
We
Who knows?
saw the Washington Redskins last year play a half with their starters, and it was enough.
Right. That's my point. Is that Odell Beckham a half is probably just as good as Sammy Watkins' whole game.
Yeah, I agree with that. In
It's
this
possible
situation.
for sure.
We've actually talked a lot about the Jets already. We talked about the Forte Powell situation.
Right.
We talked about Brandon Marshall and Robbie Anderson. So I don't know if there's a storyline on that side.
There's
Who are you
nobody
starting?
Nobody. I'm starting no Jets. If Bilal Powell is out, I'm starting no Jets.
If Brandon Marshall plays, I'm fine starting Brandon Marshall with Fitzpatrick in what could be his last game.
yeah.
I don't think he retires, by the way. Just
That's
put it
fine.
on the record.
That's
I don't
fine.
think he retires. A lot of money to be made. All right, the Cowboys take on the Eagles. Yeah, we talked about this game already, too. I mean, the Dallas has the number 1 seed clinched. They're not going to be playing Dak and Zeke and Dez and probably any of their important players for a long period of time in this game. I said it on the last show. I'm very confident in playing Darren McFadden in this game. I think he's a good start. Zeke, I have down in my 40s in the ranks, so you may not have a better option. Maybe you do. And then maybe you just want to ride him because you're benching everybody else, and at least he's going to be on the field for part of this game. Zeke is a guy, if he's in there for one drive, he could break a 67-yard screen pass. So
he could.
I'm not confident this week.
Yeah, I want the guys who are going to be on the field more for me. So to me, I'm not playing guys from Dallas.
So do you start to think about players like Bryce Butler as a start in this game, or Terrence Williams because of the fact that you won't see Bryant on the field the entire game?
If I knew that it was going to be Tony Romo throwing the ball, then I'd be okay playing them. But from all reports, it sounds like butt fumble. Mark Sanchez will be the predominant.
The worst nickname you could get.
He gave himself that.
You take a look in the mirror and say I butt fumbled, and this is my legacy.
It's so fair because it wasn't really his fault.
What do you do? The butt was right there.
I feel like he got pushed back into.
No, he ran into it. Here's the thing: if Mark Sanchez had done something of note, he could have overcame the butt fumble. But the way that his career ended in New York, that was the legacy that he left. So that's who he is now. Back to my point. I think that they're going to give Mark Sanchez the majority of the reps here, which is gross for pass catchers to me. I mean, he can be fine. Absolutely can be fine, but I don't want to mess around with that.
Starting Jason Witten?
I was just going to say, the one pass catcher that I think would be fine between whoever, you put Tony in, you put butt fumble in, you got Dak in there. I think they're all going to utilize Witten, so he's kind of one of those lower end tight end ones, higher end tight end two that could produce.
Yeah, you could.
I'm not excited about anyone in this game.
Fedorowicz or Witten?
Fedorowicz. I love Michael Keaton.
Oh, you guys stink, man.
You put that one on Mike.
Right there.
I was there.
Sorry.
Browns and Steelers.
Well, is there anyone from the Eagles that you actually want to play?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm moving
That's
on.
what I said. We got to push through, man.
You have a lot of question marks at the running back
You just
position.
brought up you guys both. I saw you on Twitter talking up Brian Matthews because you can't help yourself.
He's a great running back.
Come on. He's not.
Look, he's
what are
injury
you
prone.
talking about?
He is
He's
injury
not.
prone, and that hurts him.
Okay.
But he is a very good running back on film and statistically per touch. And it's not just because he gets only goal line work. He's had time in his career where he's been the guy, and he was great. He's been a top 12 running back before. And on a per touch basis at running back, the tweet that you're alluding to, I mean, most of his career, he's been top 10 in the league.
Is Antone Smith a good running back?
Antone Smith is not a good running back.
Okay.
He is a great
So was he a good running
weapon.
back the year that he was per touch one of the best players in the league?
He was
a great
The
weapon.
argument for me was not if it was just 1 year, fine. then
No, and that's
but you're
fair.
talking
and
a career body of
Antone
work.
Smith isn't a fair comparison to that, but you cannot. If you want to say Ryan Matthews has been a very productive fantasy running back when he plays, I totally am on board. But you have to factor in what makes him fall into these categories, which is he hasn't been consistently able to stay on the field at all. Right?
I would never ever argue against
So
that.
that's a component of being a good running back, right? And you've seen a lack of confidence in
You
him
love Doug Martin.
from different coaching staffs.
You love Doug Martin. He can't stay on the football field.
I love Doug Martin, and he can't stay on the football field. I don't make it my life mission to make Doug Martin my favorite player
Ryan
in the world.
Matthews for president.
Yeah. So, anyways,
that's
I'm-
fair. That's a
look,
fair
that-
comparison.
Ironically, Ryan
think
Matthews is not playing.
Yeah, he's out.
So
yeah, but cool story,
but
right?
cool story. Darren Sproles, I don't think we know for sure his situation. The Cowboys have been very good against running backs. You're not sure, I don't know if they're going to have their starters on defense either. Sproles is like a borderline questionable.
You guys ready for Byron Marshall?
Yes,
Maybe start him guy.
allegedly Byron Marshall is going to be getting some work here, and
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
You're
Yes.
playing for nothing. Darren Sproles is older. Byron
Marshall's 22 years old.
Yeah,
The guy
he
I
could
like-
be on your roster next year.
The guy I like the most on the
Is that your new
Eagles-
start of the week, Mike?
Byron
Are you
Marshall?
switching over to Byron Marshall?
Sure.
The guy that I like the most for the Eagles was my start of the week who let us all down last week in Zach Ertz, and I think that people are going to overreact on his week last week. Dallas is not good against the tight end, despite the fact that they have a pretty decent defense, and he's really the only weapon left for the Eagles right now, it seems. So I am 100% fine starting Zach Ertz.
Can we move on to the Browns and Steelers?
Yes, we can.
All right, the Steelers are 6-point favorites with none of their players set to start. Is that still true? That had to have been an early week line.
No, I'll look it up.
Go find out the current line of that game.
It's probably higher.
Steelers are 9-point favorites.
Oh, what is it?
It
you
looks
checking?
like Pittsburgh, they are 6-point
Still
favorites.
6-point favorites. All right. We don't need no Ben Roethlisberger, Lev Bell, Antonio Brown to be favorites. This is the Landry Jones, D. Will, Eli Rogers, Sammy Coach show. D. Will, Jason start of the week, totally worth a play. The question I think some people might have, 2 quarterback leagues or even 1 quarterback leagues. Can you stream Landry Jones against this Browns 31st ranked run D, 21st ranked pass D, also the Browns?
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, in a
I think you probably
two-quarterback league,
can, too.
You certainly can in a 2-quarterback league. When you compare him to some of the other guys that have come in, for me, I would play Landry Jones ahead of your Matt Barkleys, your Matt Moores.
There's people looking at that. If you were running with Derek Carr or Mariota, I mean, and your waiver wire has just been scrapped, it's just barren. I mean, Landry Jones, you talked about those guys. Landry Jones, Matt Moore, Gnarls Barkley, Matt Barkley, and I don't. You would go with Landry, I would assume.
I think I would now
because
it
you
does
hate
stink.
those other guys. For some reason.
because they're terrible. The problem is that Antonio Brown is gone. So that does. I mean, look, he still needs weapons to throw against. Thankfully,
I think Eli Rogers is going to play.
I like Kobe Hamilton.
the matchup against the Browns really heals a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Kobe Hamilton's had a reception in 7 straight weeks. He scored this year. He's actually been – like if Antonio Brown and Sammy Coates are off the field, it's going to be Kobe Hamilton lining up with Eli Rogers. If you need one of those I'm going to call them Ramsey's Bardens of the past.
Yeah.
If you need one of those spot start okay, you don't know this guy's out there, you could probably do worse.
Start a guy you've never even heard his name.
Yeah. Welcome
Glory.
to Week 17. Somebody could Kobe Hamilton in some DFS.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Sure.
Just saying.
Sure.
All right. That's going to be RG3 and Kessler on the other side.
It sounded the last I had heard, Ladarius Green was trending towards he would be out or is out of the concussion protocol. I cannot recall.
But why play?
But yeah,
I don't know if he plays. But so I was just going to throw out Jesse James is also he's a touchdown guy. If you're looking at, for me, Jason Witten or Jesse James, I'll play Jesse James.
I'll go White Earp. Isaiah Crowell, Terrell Pryor. Are you starting those two?
I'm fine with
Crowell.
I'm fine with Crowell.
Not Pryor.
Pryor. You burned bright, man.
What's the status of Duke Johnson? He got hurt last week. Let me look that up because if he's out, then
even if he's not out, I'm still good with Crowell.
Well, right. I'm good with him either way, but I'm just saying
Pryor's
more.
probably good for 4 or 5 catches this game for 4 or 5 yards.
Well, 4 for 20.
Yeah, I'm not playing him.
All right. Duke Johnson was
I'd play
back in
Kobe
practice.
Hamilton. I'd play Kobe Hamilton over Terrell Pryor.
Really?
I think I would.
Ugh, that's a glory play.
I don't think I would.
Okay, so what are you expecting from Terrell Pryor?
Terrell Pryor, honestly, I would guess a 4 for 50 type of game.
He is last 3 games 1 for 3, 4 for 19, 3 for 36. Now he's in Pittsburgh. If you could see the face I'm making,
Can you hear it through the
face?
speakers?
The face I'm making just scored more fantasy points than Terrell Pryor. I'm actually starting this face, but I guess if somebody's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Let's talk about a fun game.
All right, Monopoly.
Yes.
Saints and Falcons. Falcons 7-point favorites. 56.5
The
points.
line has moved up.
Oh,
that has to
yeah.
be wait
It
higher
is.
than this.
The line was 56. Now it's 56.5. It just keeps moving up.
That's the
It's
highest
of the year.
The highest of the year.
At least we have one good
Yes.
game in Week 17.
Hopefully you have Saints and Falcons on your team.
7-point favorites. The Falcons are. They're motivated to get that number 2 spot, which means a bye.
If you remember the first Saints and Falcons game, there was about 2,000 points scored in that game. Bizarrely, Julio Jones disappeared and Brandon Cooks. You remember that game where the 2 main starters just disappeared? It was the Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman show. And I expect Devonta Freeman to just be a complete beast here this week. But I've moved everyone up. And I think the sneakiest guy that I really like this week, he was almost my start of the week, is Willie Snead. He's been
interesting.
He's been good over the last few weeks. And he's going to be playing the role that I think really hurts the Falcons. So I really like Willie Snead this week. He did not play in that previous Saints-Falcons game.
Okay, interesting. I have Michael Thomas as my number 6th ranked. Number 6th? That's new. My 6th ranked wide receiver this week. Really like Michael Thomas. I don't know what it is about Brandon Cooks. I never feel confident predicting his big game.
But you have to start him.
I know what it is about him. It's the fact that he just disappears every third game.
Yeah,
just
that's what it
completely
is.
does nothing.
Interesting. Matt Ryan's the number 3 in the NFL in passing yardage. Do you know what his rank is in terms of pass attempts?
I do because I'm looking at it.
All right, what is it?
18th.
Yeah.
This was tweeted out from the Atlanta Falcons with also the hashtag MattVP, which I like that. I like that hashtag. I like it.
Who wins MVP, by the way?
Oh, man.
It's a great question.
Is it Ezekiel Elliott?
I don't think it's going to
No,
be Zeke
no.
or Dak
It
because
better
I think
not be
I think they're going to split votes. Whenever you see something like that, like people who want to give it to someone on the Cowboys, they're going to split. Some people are going to go Zeke, some people are going to go Dak. So I think.
What
it's gonna go
about?
elsewhere.
I think Matt.
You think it's Brady?
That to me, it's Brady or Matt Ryan. And sports leagues, I mean, sometimes you kind of get tired of somebody who they're just too good all the time.
That's how it feels.
It's like,
and he missed
Yeah,
4
LeBron
games.
James should be the MVP every
Yeah,
year,
and
and he's not.
Yeah, and Brady missed 4 games.
yeah. So I
think it's going to be Matt Ryan.
I think it'll
because
be Matt Ryan.
You got a lot of people that they don't want to go to Brady, and so they go to someone like a Derek Carr. Except Derek Carr broke, and those are now going to swing over to Matt Ryan.
Did you say Derek Carr broke?
That's what. Yes, I did, because he did. I mean, that's just accurate.
Whoa.
I'm sad to
Start
say
of the week is in this game. Mark Ingram's my start of the week. Certainly love that over-under for that prognostication. You have Freeman and Coleman, Ingram and Hightower. I would start 3/4 of those running backs. I'd sit Hightower myself.
that's fair.
What else do you want to talk about from this game? It's not
Uh,
like you're sitting Ryan or Breeze. You're actually very happy in Week 17 that you have one of those guys that are playing
A meaningful game.
A meaningful game. So
I feel like because of the garbage that's out there this week, you can put out literally any player. If you wanted to put out Kobe Fleener
all
or
6
Brandon,
of the wide receivers.
or Brandon Coleman, if you wanted to put those guys out over, your Terrell Pryor type of guy you don't know, I would rather be in a game with a quarterback where it's like I think there's going to be 4 or 5 touchdowns scored.
Yeah,
Let me get a chance.
You're starting Julio, but I mean, Sanu or Gabriel or both will have a good game.
Right.
So,
Well, what's crazy is
Hardy or Justin Hardy.
That previous game that I alluded to where there were so many points scored, there was only one in a half-point PPR scoring, only one wide receiver or tight end that scored more than 5 fantasy points for the Falcons. Can you believe that?
That's nuts.
And I believe it was Justin Hardy. Got a touchdown.
Because he got a touchdown. Giants, Washington. 7.5-point favorites. Washington is favored. It's a 44.5-point over-under. Of course, Washington is favored because the Giants have no reason to play. They were talking about resting their starters.
Were they?
The Giants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were talking about it before it was cool. Before Dallas jumped in and said, hey, maybe that's a good idea. If I have nothing to play for, I'm going to keep my players healthy for the playoffs. So it's just, I don't want to trust anybody from the New York side of it. You got to like the guys from Washington. They are playing for their lives. If Washington wins, they're in. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
well, no. That's not correct.
They need the line.
Washington's not in if Green Bay wins.
If Green Bay wins, Washington's. I need to look this up.
Yeah, no. If Washington wins, then they're dependent on Detroit losing.
Okay.
To get that last spot.
I'm looking here. Washington. Yeah.
Right. You can confirm that. I'm almost because Green Bay can't miss the playoffs.
Yeah. Jay, do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember
That's what it is.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong,
Sue me.
Twitter will tell me.
Regardless.
No, because Green Bay can't miss the playoffs. So if Washington wins and Detroit loses, Washington's in.
Okay. So either way, they got to win to get in. Kirk Cousins bounced back just fine by vulturing all of Robert Kelly's touchdowns. Robert Kelly is interesting this week from the fact that we don't know exactly how much he will play. He got decently banged up, a knee injury last week, was in and out of the game after that, and you saw Thompson you saw Kelly's
and Brown.
You saw his touchdowns just get vultured away. I like it. This is a circumstance where I normally wouldn't love guys like D-Jax or Garcon or Crowder. I mean, the Giants' pass defense, I know they're 22nd in terms of yardage allowed, but I feel like they've had a very solid defense through the entire season with Jenkins being a shutdown guy. But
I think Robert Kelly plays, and I think you should play him.
You're on board with Robert Kelly this week?
This week I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the pass catchers? Because I'm playing all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of boxed in by week 17, and so I don't think, based on how D-Jax, Garcon, and Crowder have played, I think you're playing them. I don't have any confidence in Reed or Davis.
I agree.
And on the other side, if I'm picking a running back, I'm picking Perkins. And if I'm picking a pass catcher, other than Odell Beckham Jr., it's Shepard because he's found his way into the end zone. So this game's a 44.5-point over-under. The Redskins are heavily favored in it. Yeah, that's about how I feel.
Everything you said is exactly what I would say. So we can move.
So let's go lay of the land here. Raiders and Broncos. Okay, Oakland's motivated to get the 2 spot. They still have a shot at the 1. They're competing with Kansas City, right, for the 2 spot.
Correct.
Kind of a big deal, I would think, for the Raiders. Not that it'll, it being a big deal is going to make this game any easier, but having an extra week of preparation for Matt McGloin, having the bye week, would be big. And I think, the Broncos are obviously very beatable. This game, they're favored because they're at home, but you've got the Paxton Lynch potential start. You really haven't seen anything on the offensive side. It's just a matter of can McGloin score anything against Denver?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game.
It's the opposite of the Atlanta game from a fantasy perspective because not only do you have, like, the Atlanta game, you have 2 stud quarterbacks in a high projected game. Here you have 2 inexperienced quarterbacks in a low projected game. It makes you really hesitate about the Coopers and Crabtrees.
Yeah, Cooper and Crabtree, I've got them buried. I can't even fathom starting either one of those guys. I would start probably 45 different wide receivers over either one of those guys.
That far down?
Yeah,
basically
to me, McGloin against the Broncos, how are you getting the ball to him? However, I know you disagree on this one, Andy, but I really like Latavius Murray, and I also like DeAndre Washington in this game, because if you're the Raiders and you're coming into this game that you need to win and you cannot pass the ball, but your offensive line and in the run game is just better. I mean, last time they just humiliated the Broncos. They ran the same play 10 times in a row, and they could not be stopped.
No, you're right. And so you would take the Washington over Richard as the secondary running back.
And I would be willing to
because
play
of last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tables have turned on that. DeAndre Washington's the guy they drafted to be that, and they sent him a message midseason, and now they let him back into the fold, and he's played great.
I just don't know who it'll be. I agree with the whole argument that there'll be another guy in the running game that matters. By the way, I need to apologize to the listeners. I made a mistake when I quoted Amari Cooper losing a reception for 4 yards. He gained a reception for 4 yards. So same impact, but it was just if your opponent had Amari Cooper, then they beat you because he picked up if you had a close matchup. So I misspoke when I said he lost one. He gained one, and then obviously that means Derek Carr gained a pass completed in 4 yards in the changeover. So quite a few stat corrections for weeks 17, 16. All right, we're going to talk about Forsett and Booker. Are you starting either guy?
I think I'd start Booker.
Would you? You feel like it's swung back enough? I mean, it's
Forsett scored last week.
Yeah, it seems
that was
like
about all he did.
The timeshare. Ah, man, I don't know who I would start over those two. I think I would start Forsett.
Man, this could be an ugly game.
Yeah, it really, really could be.
That's a game that could be. I mean, it could be 10-3, 13-3, 13-6. I mean,
agree.
It could be a really ugly game.
Unless the defense scores.
Right. McCoy. All right. Cardinals. Rams. Looks like the Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites. Another game that could be, could be a little ugly for if you're starting anybody on the offensive side of the Rams for sure. The Cardinals are favored 40.5-point over/under. You're starting Palmer.
Yeah, I like Palmer.
Options are limited in week 17.
I like the Arizona pass catchers. I'm good with Fitz. J.J. Nelson is being unleashed, and we saw a connection with Palmer and J.J. Nelson last week, where that's the thing that's really been missing from the Cardinals game is those deep shots. They've not been connecting all year. So if J.J. and Palmer are getting that going, I mean, it was only one. It's only been a couple. But if they're going to get that going, then they're both going to be great plays. Big Gresh will do what he does, which is 4 for 40, 5 for 40, right around there. So he's still a fine play.
If little start of the week junior here.
Oh.
I'm just throwing it out there. I think John Brown might have a game.
Oh.
I think John
Brown. On what grounds?
On the grounds that he started to get more involved again last week. He already returned to practice this week. They're just limiting practice reps to keep him healthy due to the sickle cell situation. I saw some things last week that made me think that maybe they're going to get on the same page. It'd be great to get him a positive game heading into the offseason for a guy that was so impactful.
Yeah, no,
he was 5.
Like
okay, and I was wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean in the Seattle game. But 2 weeks ago, he was 5 for 81 and a touchdown. He showed that he's still there. So
yeah,
I'm just putting it out there.
I'm really hoping he gets right in the offseason because the Arizona Cardinals need him, and he can be a valuable fantasy guy. In the meantime, I do like J.J. Nelson better. He's that last year's Ted Ginn play where you're hoping for one or two of those bombs. We saw, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where he also, in addition to what he did grab, he dropped that.
Yes,
he had
that was
another
New Orleans
He
game.
scored in 4 straight weeks, so that tells you what you need to know about J.J. Nelson right now. Todd Gurley, we liked him last week. He helped you to a title if you played in Week 16. Don't like him this week.
I agree.
Not one bit. Cardinals defense is pretty good against the run, and Gurley just hasn't been able to get it done against good defenses.
Or bad defenses.
I would say the only pass catcher from the Rams that I'm interested in would be Brian Quick. It'd be a glory play, but he had success the last time these two teams played. If he gets to match up with who's the Cooper?
Brandon Williams?
Williams, not Cooper. Brandon Williams, they're throwing him out there. If Quick gets matched up on Williams at the right time, he could go yards.
Honestly, if Tavon Austin or Quick or Britt, if any of them get matched up on Brandon Williams, they can score.
Yeah, but Tavon,
could.
They don't play Tavon the way that Quick's a deep threat. So I'm just saying, if I'm playing anyone from this team, that's who I'm interested in.
I agree, but I'm not playing anyone from the team.
You guys good?
Yep. Chiefs, Chargers.
The Kansas City Chiefs take on the San Diego Chargers. Chargers are 6-point dogs. It's a 44.5-point over-under. This game's in San Diego. Clear weather, but Kansas City's motivated to win this game, and they've been playing so well. They want that number 2 spot. I don't blame them. It'd be nice. Be nice to get a home game, and it'd be nice to get a bye. So, Smith and Rivers.
Man.
Sounds like they should manufacture weaponry.
Yes.
Smith and Rivers.
Ooh, I got my new Smith and Rivers rifle.
Yeah.
Are you okay riding Rivers into the championship?
No?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm okay if I had Big Ben. then I have to be okay with it. But no, I don't feel good about that in this game. I mean, the Chiefs defense is good enough to slow Rivers down to make this game more about the runners, I think.
And now is this the last? This is in San Diego.
Yeah.
Is this the last game in San Diego for the Chargers?
Unknown. Could be.
Yeah, we've heard the rumors. The rumors in the bushes are they might move up to L.A. to join the Rams.
Yeah, as early as 2017.
What rank is Phillip Rivers on this season?
Quarterback?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 14 or 15. I'm going to go 16.
I'm going to go higher than that. I'm going to go 12.
8.
Ha ha!
Man, he is.
I win.
He's just throwing so many interceptions this year.
How many consecutive weeks has Phillip Rivers, and that is true, the interceptions have destroyed him. How many consecutive weeks with 2 or more touchdowns?
Consecutive? 4.
6.
8.
Yeah,
Wow.
win again.
All right.
8 consecutive games. In
I
fact,
need to apologize to Phillip. Good.
only 4 games this year he has not had at least 2. He's been playing
Better than I thought.
yeah, I mean, he's been okay. I mean, it's been 2 touchdowns in each of the last 4 weeks. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets 2 more against Kansas City. So that's probably enough for you to 202. Hopefully not throwing 4 picks, 5 picks.
Yeah, well, he's throwing a pick in 6 straight games.
Yeah, he's been bad on that front. Spencer Ware.
12 picks in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
Oof.
This is not good.
Oof.
All right. On to players.
Spencer Ware is a fine play
We talked about Gordon already.
this week, assuming that he suits up. He's got the sore ribs, but I'm okay playing him against the Chargers.
If Gordon doesn't play, do you start Hillman?
Yeah, I think Hillman would be a volume play
Yeah.
where, when you're scratching at week 17, he could be okay.
I mean, you got who's behind him? Andre Williams, the sensation out of New York.
Yep. All right, Tyrell Williams, Tyreek Hill, Jeremy Maclin, Dontrell Inman, the wide receivers. What are the storylines here for fantasy owners? Decisions to be made. I feel confident with Tyrell.
I
feel confident with Tyreek?
I love Michael Keaton.
I let you down now.
I feel very confident with Tyreek. I mean,
You feel very confident?
I do, because last week he got 6 carries or something like that, 5 or 6
And
carries.
0 receptions for 2 straight weeks.
That's fine. I mean, I'm confident with Ty Montgomery, and if they want to use him more as a running back than as a wide receiver, so long as they are giving him touches, if they're manufacturing getting the ball in his hands, then I'm confident. And so that's where it's like if
Double digits in 7 of 10 games.
Yeah, I'm playing him. I'm just not overly confident about it.
Is that from the moment that Maclin got back? Because he had receptions from week 10 on. 10, 4, 9, 5, 6, 0, 0.
Yeah, I think that does coincide with Maclin.
And they've changed the game plan to get him.
Exactly. That's why I'm confident, because
But only 1 carry last week. 0 receptions, 1 carry last week.
Exactly. 1 carry. No. What I'm saying is he only had 1 carry, no receptions. Maclin was back. He wasn't involved. Then
Maclin has been back for 3 weeks.
I know. I'm saying, but he was there. He had only gotten 1 reception both games. Wasn't very involved. Then last week they gave him 6 carries. I feel like they're saying, how can we get him the ball? That number is what says to me, okay, all right. If he's not getting passes, they're going to give him touches. So for me, I like him.
He doesn't want to play with a nuclear device 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
He's
you should
choosing
not.
to go with Tyreek this week.
Sure am.
Kelsey won a lot of fantasy championships. You find rolling him out, obviously. Antonio Gates is a great start this week.
I'm playing him.
Yeah, I like him too. Chiefs are 27th, 26th against the run. That's low.
It's a little surprising. They've got a great pass rush, but their run defense has not been on point.
It was a little bit like last year with the Chiefs. They started slow.
Seahawks 49ers. 49ers are 9.5-point underdogs in this game at home. The Seahawks are motivated to win that number 2 seed and get a home game in the very difficult to play in Seattle with the 12th man. So this could be a bloodbath.
Yeah, they're not going to know. I mean, by the time their game kicks off, they will still need to win. And that's why, for me, I really like the Seahawks. Russell Wilson's my start of the week. They're 9.5-point favorites. I would take the over, even though they're in San Francisco.
I start 0 49ers.
Yeah, I'm still perfectly fine starting Cap.
That's a shame.
You know what? So here's
okay.
something funny. When I was looking up from week 9, I wanted to see second half of the year, how is Russell Wilson? Do you remember where Russell Wilson was ranked as the quarterback from week 9 on, fantasy-wise?
Yeah, number 2.
2. You want to know who was number 3?
Cap?
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a 43-point game in there helps, but he did his best to even out that average with his atrocious game in there. So I agree. I am somewhat
Is that a garbage
okay.
time play, Mike?
It's
just
running.
He runs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I think
they're going to be down big.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah.
He's been perfectly fine for fantasy purposes. There was the one game, the snow game, which will live in infamy for sure for fantasy purposes, because everyone since that time has said, I will not play Colin Kaepernick. But if you had started him every single week after that, you've been perfectly fine.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the other options, I'm going to start him over Landry Jones, even against Seattle.
Yeah, that also factors into it. The other options this week are lowered.
Obviously, you like the running back that starts. If Rawls is supposed to be in there, you're playing a San Francisco defense that has just been atrocious, worst in the league. Got to love Rawls to bounce back, have some confidence going into the playoffs if he starts this game. Sunday night game. Packers, Lions battling for the division.
That's going to be a fun game to watch.
Both teams will clinch playoff spots if Washington loses earlier in the day.
Then it won't be a fun
Well, no,
game.
they're
it will,
still
because
battling.
the division the division matters.
Then it will be a fun game.
Plus the battle for, Detroit still has the possibility of winning a bye, don't they?
Yes.
That's the crazy thing about Detroit's situation. You can go from bye to bye-bye. Like, we're not in the playoffs anymore.
I like it.
Like, if Washington wins earlier in the day, then Detroit could be out.
Yeah.
That's high pressure. That's a high-pressure situation. So it's going to be a good game. 49.5-point over-under. The question is, to me, it's just can Matthew Stafford and Detroit keep up with the offense on the other side that has been on fire? The Green Bay Packers. Fortunately for the Lions, this game is at home.
Fortunately for them, they get Darius Slay back.
They need him.
Yes. Big
They
time.
need him. I like Eric Ebron. He's my tight end start of the week. I like Golden Tate. It's a volume
He's
play.
my tight end or my wide receiver start of the week.
And then, Zach Zinner flashed a little bit last week. Any thoughts on him?
Look, you're going to need to have some semblance of a running game. Theo Riddick is not going to play. I said last week Dwayne Washington is just the worst, and thankfully the Lions came out and went, we agree. Zach Zinner, you get the ball. And then it was like, oh, look, it's a running back. So, Zinner is – I don't know where I would rank him, because I think this is going to turn into a pass game. But Zinner would be the back I would want from Detroit, certainly.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only chance that Detroit has to win this game is possession, as in they have to go full on Dallas Cowboys, grind out. You have 6-minute drives.
I completely
I think
agree.
they have no shot to win otherwise. With Stafford's banged up throwing hand with that middle finger.
And the Lions defense giving up more passing touchdowns per game than just about anybody in football, and Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And I'm okay. I'm still okay with the weapons. Your starts of the week, I'm still fine with that. I don't particularly like Stafford in this game, even though it's basically a dream matchup against the Green Bay secondary. I'm very concerned. December Stafford has let me down so many times. The injury to his hand.
Yeah, his middle finger injury. He's had
his middle finger gave a finger to his
stat line.
To his fantasy
One
stats.
touchdown, 4 picks since that injury.
Yeah, that's
not a good line.
Certainly worrisome.
But they could be down a lot. There could be garbage time to be had in this game.
Gamer, and their defense is bad. Watching the film is what scares me the most because he looks very bad over the last few games. Like, he's missing passes. They're down at people's feet. And he says that it's not the finger, but of course he's going to say that.
This is what I don't get about these athletes. Okay, so you have this situation. Matt Stafford playing very poorly the last couple weeks. His throwing hand is not perfect. I mean, you need to be able to grip the ball and throw with accuracy. And you come out, no, it's not that. Okay, well, what is it? Well, I just stink. I'm not a very good quarterback. Like, I say, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with the hand. I don't know why admitting that injury is impacting your game is such a big deal.
It impacts it from a perspective of it's just an NFL thing. You don't let the defense know what's bothering you.
If they know.
No, they don't. I mean, you're not overt with that type of thing. You don't come out and say, yeah, I had a tough game because my right. Aaron Rodgers had some bad games or some games where he didn't look so good. He doesn't come out and go, yeah, it's really, my ankle and my hamstring, they're really slowing me down.
I agree, but the one thing that's weird about this one is it's like, as a defender, how do you target someone's finger?
Wasn't it? Who did we see do that? It was Shaquille O'Neal. I remember something involved where someone was pulling on a finger. You guys remember this at all?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a completely different sport. You can actually attack someone's hand in basketball. All right.
I just think if he's out there on the field, I've seen him make good throws, right? If you can make a good throw, he needs
to make a lot of good throws though.
Is anyone interested in 6 receptions for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Was that Marvin Jones last time?
Don't do it.
Yeah, Marvin Jones last time he played.
I thought that maybe
Green Bay
was
Packers.
I thought that was his season stat line.
Since then, it is also they're the same.
Oh man,
nobody's starting Marvin Jones, right? You're taking that glory play?
No. I'd rather start Kobe Hamilton.
You and Kobe Hamilton.
Me and Kobe Hamilton, we're tight. Watch him Ramsey's Barden on you right now.
Now, how much of your love for him is the fact that his last name is Hamilton?
You mean because of the musical?
Yeah, you love it.
I do like the musical, yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, that is it for today.
That's what I thought.
That is it for today's show. Thanks for hanging in here with us for the Friday episode. I am barely alive, so thank you for surviving with me.
I think we all are barely alive.
I've been texting my wife to see how our children are doing. They're asleep.
That's good.
Unlike me last night. So, hey, thanks for hanging around, and check out jointhefoot.com. Get involved in our fantasy football community. We're there all season long. Great feedback. We're going to keep adding more and more stuff there.
The footies are coming.
Some playoff challenges coming. We have the Truth episodes on their way and a ton more. We're also going to give some studio tours of the new digs. We'll be debuting that in February, but we're in the process of getting that set up. A lot of fun stuff, and thanks for reviewing the show. Any other thoughts from you two, gentlemen?
No, I appreciate you sticking with us. It's been a long season. Season for everyone.
I think this is going to be a really fun football playoffs this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
Head over to fantasyjocks.com for your trophies, the Coats footballers.
Can the Cardinals still get in?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.